cast is fantastic, and like Sally Hawkins plays the main female lead. She's a mute janitor, and Octavia Spencer is her co-worker, and Michael Shannon's in it, and Michael Stuhlbarg, who was in the last season of Fargo, and he was in what's that Coen Brothers movie, A Serious Man, if you've ever seen that one. He was Arnold Rothstein on Boardwalk Empire.
Yeah.
But they're all really good. Richard Jenkins is in it, who was in Let Me In, who we were talking about. He plays Sally Hawkins' neighbor.
Okay.
And they're just, like, the cast is fantastic, and they are all so good in the movie, in their roles. And it's just, it's, like I said, it's this weird mashup of 3 or 4 different types of movies. And Del Toro makes it work.
Yeah.
And it's, like I said, that's probably my favorite movie of his. I liked it a lot better than I liked Pan's Labyrinth. And the only other movie that I think is as close to that is probably Devil's Backbone. It was a Del Toro movie that I really, really loved. So
you're not a fan of Crimson Peak?
Crimson Peak was good. It's not great, but it's good. I don't like Pacific Rim.
Yeah.
I don't like the second Hellboy.
Which is funny because that was I looked at a recent rank. He ranked his own movies, and Hellboy: The Golden Army was on there, but not the other one.
See, because I think it hews a little bit more closely to his sensibilities, but I don't like it. I thought it was all over the place and not as fun as the first one.
Like the boss battle at the end was very like anticlimactic.
Yeah.
See, but a buddy of mine says that the Golden Army is the better one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but what my opinion is worth, I don't like it as much as I like the first one.
Is that it? Shape of Water? Thoughts on it? Are you excited for it?
I'm excited for it. I really want to see it, yeah.
It's really good, and a lot of people I've talked to, it's one of their favorite movies of the year.
Okay.
It seems like a lot of people have really enjoyed it. So,
answer me this if you can. Why... So I'm guessing the U.S. has the creature, right?
Yeah.
What's the significance? Like, why are they so worried about him? Or
because it's during the Cold War. They're afraid like the Russians want him for some kind of weapon or whatever,
like to harness whatever he has, because he's supposedly a god.
Yeah, like they found him in. Like in Amazon, like the Amazon. They said that the villagers are worshiping him like a god, and the U.S. doesn't really understand it. But whatever it is, they don't want the Russians to get their hands on it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like where the Cold War stuff.
Okay, that's
comes
why.
In. Yeah.
Michael Shannon's always, like in just the trailers that I've seen, he's like freaking out when he disappears.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And he's super good. I wanted that candy. The candy that he has in the movie. For some reason, I was like mesmerized every time he goes to get some of the candy out of the box and eat it. I'm like, what is that? Like, I wish I'd like to get my hands on some of that.
It's like some strange hard candy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure. I'm wondering if it even is a real thing, and if that was just in there, for the movie. But for some reason, every time he would like pop out the candy, and he has it's almost like every scene he's in. It seemed like he was reaching for the candy, and then he's like talking about it towards the end of the film, like close to the climax, like oh, like this, I love this candy because I like this. I can do this with it.
Or he says like how he's he's a simple man because it's like a cheap candy, and he's easily accommodated or whatever.
Yeah, he's really good, and he has all his scenes are. Like, it's either the candy or the thing with the fingers. It's really funny, and I brought this up to you, Wesley, last week after I watched it. Is the whole movie has like this green motif in it. There's a lot of the color green in the film. You know, whether it's the lights or the candy is green, the key lime pie at the restaurant. Like a lot of the green in the film, even the uniforms that the janitors wear are all green. And
then like the beautiful kind of intro to the film is underwater.
Yeah.
And it's kind of green.
Yeah.
It's got a green tone to it too. But yeah, you should definitely go check that out. Hopefully you can do it too.
Yes. I plan on doing it.
It's good. I believe it went wide, so it should be easy to find.
Okay.
Moving on.
Moving on. What number is this?
3.
3. My number 3 is a movie on Netflix called Mudbound.
Oh, I wanted to watch Mudbound.
Really good.
I heard it was really good.
Yeah, it's really good. It has a... I had it written down somewhere.
There's that helicopter again.
It has a 97 on Rotten Tomatoes. So, I mean, if you keep track of Rotten Tomatoes, which I don't like to, but I guess it's kind of like I do and I don't, because that's how sometimes I judge movies. But I like to see them regardless of the scores.
Yeah.
But I know that's how a lot of people decide if they want to see a movie or not. But so basically this movie is 2 Mississippi families, one black and one white, confront the brutal realities of prejudice, farming, and friendship in a divided World War II era. It's a really good movie. It takes place in that time when, even now there's racism, but when it was really, really bad.
It's in the Jim Crow South, right?
Yeah, it's in Mississippi. And so basically these 2 guys from different families both go to go fight in World War II, and they both come back. Can't remember his name. The guy from Tron, the Legacy.
Garrett Hedlund.
Yeah, Garrett Hedlund. He goes and he's a bomber, and you mentioned
Jason Mitchell.
Yeah,
he's
the other guy. Yeah, and
okay.
he's a tanker, and he drives the tanks around, and they come back from the war, and Garrett has PTSD really bad. He hears like a car backfiring, and he falls on the ground, and that's when I'm sorry, what's his name again?
Jason Mitchell.
Yeah, Jason Mitchell. He walks up to him, and he's like, "Oh, hey, how you doing?" He picks up his hat, and he's like, "Oh, it was just a car," because he knows what he's going through, because he's experiencing the same things. And throughout the movie, they grow this bond because they've experienced the same type of things, and they're going through the same type of trauma. And but in that town that they're from, that's not acceptable for whites and blacks to even be friends or to even really talk in a friendly type of way. And basically, it's about the struggles of their 2 families, because the black family rents land from the white family, and so they all live on the same land, but they're kind of there's just a lot of prejudice, and you get to see the conflict between the 2 families, and just how that sucks. But I mean, it's a really great movie.
Yeah, I heard.
It's awesome.
I think what Netflix did was like what they did with Okja earlier this year. Is they released it in theaters for like a week or something before premiering on Netflix, because it's a movie that'll probably get some kind of award recognition.
I think it should
when they start doing that. I didn't check out any of the Golden Globe stuff, so I don't know if they've recognized it for that yet. But I think that they're thinking it's going to get a lot of award recognition.
Yeah, it's really it's crazy because he goes to they both go to the war, and Garrett comes back, and it's the same as it was. He's fine, but then Jason comes back from the war, and he's like, I fought for this country, and I come back, and it's nothing has changed. It's still the same. I'm a war hero, but I'm not treated like a war hero. Like he said, he talks about how there was parades for them in Germany and in everything when they were leaving, but coming back, he's he still gets called boy and everything like that. And you go, use the back door, don't use the front door. You can't go in this way. You can't use that bathroom or whatever. But it's a really good movie. It's crazy. It's an eye opener to see that stuff. I mean, most people know that type of stuff happened back then, and it still happens now. But it's really cool. It's a good movie. Yeah, I really recommend it.
It's on my Netflix list too.
Yeah.
Hopefully I'll get a chance to watch this. I was thinking about watching it before we did this, and just didn't have as much time as I hoped.
So yeah, that's mine.
Cool.
Wes.
Oh, what are we on? Number
3?
3. My number 3 is Baby Driver.
Nice.
And then my number 2 is Get Out, which we also talked about.
Yeah.
So should I do my number 1?
You want to jump to number 1? You want to save that until we go around? Because you might have what I have, at least in my top 2.
Maybe. Yeah, let's wait. I'll skip. Yeah, you can skip me. Go back to you.
Yeah, okay. My number 1, or my number 2, is Blade Runner 2049.
Nice.
We talked about this on, was it the Horror Hounds episode that I was on, because I had just seen it. And have you watched it yet, James?
Not yet.
Okay.
I know it should be coming up pretty soon, right?
Yeah, I think it's scheduled for sometime in January.
January, yeah.
Yeah. But I loved it.
It's on demand, or you can get it digitally now.
Okay.
Yeah, check it out if you do on demand stuff. Check it out. I love Blade Runner. That's one of my all-time favorite movies. I was really, really excited for this one. It didn't disappoint. It kind of expands on that storyline that the first Blade Runner has. Great sci-fi. The director, Denis Villeneuve. This is the 3rd year in a row that I've either had one of his movies as my first or second favorite film of the year.
Okay.
Because I loved Sicario. I thought that was fantastic. Last year, Arrival was my favorite film of the year. And like this year, Blade Runner 2049. He's a fantastic director. I was super excited that he was doing this. Mm-hmm. I can't even begin to think about what he's going to do next.
Yeah. But
it's a fantastic film. Gosling's really good in it. Harrison Ford is good in it. It's got a great villain in Love, who's Jared Leto's number 2 or his right hand. She's a really good villain. She has a really great scene with Robin Wright, who's the police chief or lieutenant. And I don't want to say too much about it because I don't want to spoil it for James. And it is somewhat of a recent release, but and I think I mentioned it before when we did the Horror Hounds episode. Just the production design is awesome. The cinematography is awesome. Just everything looks real. Obviously, there's some CGI in it, but you can't really tell in a lot of scenes what's CGI and what's what. You can tell that they really built sets, and it looks awesome. The whole look and feel of the film was great. And I watched it originally, and then I went back and watched it in IMAX.
Okay. Because
it was really cool, and it looked great in IMAX too. So that's going to be my number 2 pick. I highly recommend that one. And very, very good movie, very good sci-fi. It was unfortunate it didn't do that well at the box office. It did okay, but it wasn't a huge hit.
The way that they wanted, yeah.
Yeah, but then again, the original Blade Runner was not a hit at all.
Yeah.
And it's become a big cult movie, but everyone I know that's seen 2049 was like, dude, that was amazing.
Yeah.
I just feel like, I think I talked about this with someone before, that because it's attached to that Blade Runner name, there's so many people who are unfamiliar with the first one who probably refuse to go give this one a chance or go back and watch that one.